guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am starting with oligosaccharides. In my last video, I have defined monosaccharides. So if you have not seen that video, just go back to that and learn about monosaccharides and then dive into this one. So uh, what is oligosaccharide? Saccharides. Oligosaccharides, oligo word, this is a Greek word. This means oligo means few units of monosaccharides. Okay, this is a Greek word which means few. And by keeping this word as my base, I will define the actual meaning of oligosaccharide, which is oligosaccharide has 2 to 10 monosaccharide molecules. 2 to 10 monosaccharide molecules which are liberated on hydrolysis. So like in my last video, I have told you in monosaccharides there is no concept of hydrolysis. You cannot hydrolyze monosaccharides into their further simpler units. They are already simpler carbohydrate. You cannot further cleave or you cannot further hydrolyze monosaccharides. But from oligosaccharide onwards, you can actually get monosaccharide units that form a oligosaccharide. So this point is very important. From oligosaccharide onwards, you can carry out the process of hydrolysis to get the monosaccharide units. So oligosaccharides can be subdivided further based on the number of monosaccharide units. So if I classify oligosaccharide, then I can subgroup or subdivide oligosaccharide into disaccharide and tri, tetra or pentasaccharides. Tri, tetra or pentasaccharides. So this classification is based on number of monosaccharide units. So if I give you some examples that will actually help you to understand the terminology hydrolysis and also what are the monosaccharide units that are used to form some of the disaccharides and some of the tri, tetra or pentasaccharides, which are altogether grouped into oligosaccharide division. Okay, so if I divide this slide into two parts, this is my disaccharide and this is my tri or tetra or pentasaccharides. So in disaccharides, the general formula is CnH2O whole n minus 1, and in tri, tetra or pentasaccharides there is no as such any formula, but there are 3, 4 or 5 monosaccharide units. 3, 4 or 5 monosaccharide units. And if I give you some examples of disaccharide, then I would first mention maltose, which is formed by joining 2 units of glucose. So maltose, it is a disaccharide. It is formed by joining 2 units of glucose. So glucose is a monosaccharide and maltose is a disaccharide. And if I hydrolyze maltose, then I will get 2 molecules of glucose. Similarly, sucrose, it is a non-reducing sugar. Sucrose, if I hydrolyze sucrose, then I will get 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose. Glucose and fructose, they are monosaccharides, and sucrose is a disaccharide, and glucose is an aldose sugar, it is having an aldehyde group, and fructose is a ketose sugar having a ketone group. These all definitions are there in my last video. Just go and watch that video and then come back to this one, then it will be much more clear. Okay, and another example, let me just wait a second. Another example of disaccharide is lactose, which is hydrolyzed into glucose and galactose. So again, in disaccharide, the general formula is CnH2O whole n-1, and some of the important examples are maltose, sucrose and lactose. So maltose, it is hydrolyzed into its 2 monosaccharide units, glucose and glucose. Sucrose, it is a non-reducing sugar, it is hydrolyzed into its 2 monosaccharide units, glucose and fructose. And lactose, it is hydrolyzed into its 2 monosaccharide units, glucose and galactose. So disaccharide, it is basically having its name by the theory of how many monosaccharide units or how many molecules of monosaccharide we are getting after the process of hydrolysis. Like in my last video, I have told you monosaccharide means how many units you are getting after hydrolysis, but in monosaccharide there is no process of hydrolysis, because monosaccharide itself is a simpler unit of carbohydrate, so you cannot further hydrolyze it. So that is a single molecule, you cannot further hydrolyze or you cannot further break that. That is why it is monosaccharide. And in case of disaccharide, the name itself suggests Di means two molecules of monosaccharide. So this is very important. Disaccharide means two molecules of monosaccharide after hydrolysis. This is very important. Disaccharide doesn't mean that there are two carbon or there are two bonds, something like that, but it is actually how many molecules you are getting after the process of hydrolysis, and you are getting two molecules of monosaccharide that I have already told you. So I think this is clear. Now if I explain tri, tetra or pentasaccharides, there are no formulae for these oligosaccharides, but they are having 3, 4 or 5 monosaccharide units like I have already written here. This is not telling you how many carbon atoms are there in tri, tetra, pentasaccharides, but it is telling you how many monosaccharides you will get after the process of hydrolysis. And these are very prominent in plants. These oligosaccharides are very prominent in case of plants, and some examples are raffinose, which is a trisaccharide, and it is hydrolyzed into fructose, galactose, glucose. Fructose, galactose and glucose. See, you are getting 3 monosaccharides here. Similarly, other examples such as stachyose, it is a tetrasaccharide. It is a tetrasaccharide, means after hydrolysis you will get 4 units of monosaccharides, which are 2 molecules of galactose and where is the eraser? 2 molecules of galactose, 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose. And another example is verbacose. It is a pentasaccharide. And if you hydrolyze this, you will get 3 moles or 3 molecules of galactose, 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose. So I think this is clear. Always remember, monosaccharide means how many carbohydrate units or how many units you are getting after hydrolysis. But in case of monosaccharides, there is no concept of hydrolysis, so only one unit of or only one group of sugar you will get. Get in the sense that is, it is having only one unit of sugar, either glucose or fructose or galactose. You cannot further cleave or you cannot further hydrolyze that. But in case of oligosaccharides, and onwards, you will always get the concept of hydrolysis, where you will get 2 units of uh, carbohydrate after hydrolysis in case of disaccharide, and more than 2 units of carbohydrate or more than 2 molecules of carbohydrate after hydrolysis in case of trisaccharide, tetrasaccharide and pentasaccharide. So this should be very clear. Now very briefly, I will explain you about polysaccharides. We have completed monosaccharide, oligosaccharide, and this is the last type of carbohydrate, which is polysaccharide. And in this video I will only give you a very brief introduction. In my next video I will give you some more details on polysaccharide. So polysaccharide, poly means many, poly means many. Unlike oligosaccharide, poly means many. And polysaccharides are polymers of monosaccharide units. Polymers means many units of monosaccharides will combine to form polysaccharides with very high molecular weight, which could be up to millions. And they are usually tasteless, which is non-sugar, and forms colloids with water. They will form a colloidal suspension, or they will aggregate when they are kept in water. So this is their characteristic property. So let me just write down all those points. Poly means many, and it is polysaccharide is composed of polymers of monosaccharide units. Polymers of monosaccharide units. So this is mainly above 5. Okay, 5, above 5 monosaccharide units, because in oligosaccharide I have already given you vervicose, which is a pentasaccharide and which is an oligosaccharide. So definitely polysaccharide will have monosaccharide units which is more than 6. More than 6 monosaccharide units will form polysaccharide. Second point, polysaccharide will form colloid with water, because they can aggregate, or they have hygroscopic property. They have hygroscopic property. They can aggregate, they can form a colloidal suspension when kept in water. They are tasteless, non-sugar, and they have high molecular weight, which is approximately millions. So these are some important points regarding polysaccharides. And type of polysaccharides: homopolysaccharide or homoglycans, and heteropolysaccharide or heteroglycans. So polysaccharide is divided into homopolysaccharide or homoglycans and heteropolysaccharide or heteroglycans. So homopolysaccharide is having its general formula as C6H10O5 whole N. C6H10O5 whole N. And heteropolysaccharide is not having any formula as such. Some more points regarding homopolysaccharide and heteropolysaccharide. In homopolysaccharide, monosaccharide units of a single type. So there is only one type of monosaccharide unit, single type of monosaccharide units. Maybe all the monosaccharide units are of glucose, all the monosaccharide units are of fructose, and so on. Single type of monosaccharide units. And in case of heteropolysaccharide, possess two or more different types of monosaccharide units or their derivatives. Okay, so more than two or even higher type of monosaccharide units or their derivatives. And if I give you some examples in homopolysaccharide, then I would definitely mention starch. It is the reserve food in case of plants. Then glycogen, it is the reserve food material in case of animals. Then insulin, insulin is present in ground vegetables which are grown inside the soil or beneath the uh, soil. Okay, like sweet potato, sweet potato having insulin. Then another example, cellulose, which is the cell wall. Plant cell wall has cellulose as its component, one of the most important components in plant cell wall, cellulose. And in heteropolysaccharide, I can mention heparin, then chondroitin, and chondroitin sulfate, sorry, and many more examples. So this is all about polysaccharide introduction, and in my next video I will give you some more important points regarding polysaccharides. Like I have already mentioned, you need to remember how many monosaccharide units you are getting after hydrolysis, and accordingly you will define that type of carbohydrate, whether monosaccharide, oligosaccharide, or polysaccharide. Okay, so this you need to remember. And in my last video I have promised to provide you a very small handwritten chart of monosaccharide, just to give you a glimpse of some important monosaccharides and how you can actually remember how many chiral carbons are there, and what are the aldose and ketose monosaccharide. So that I will just show you. Okay, so this is that handwritten chart of monosaccharide. I think this is visible enough. So let me just clarify what I have written. So monosaccharide, this cannot be further hydrolyzed. Okay, let me just change the color. Okay, so monosaccharide cannot be further hydrolyzed. And if I classify monosaccharides, then there is triose, tetrose, pentose, hexose, right? Triose means it is having 3 carbon. Tetrose means it is having 4 carbon. Pentose 5 carbon and hexose 6 carbon. Now in all these type of monosaccharide examples, you will always find aldehyde or ketone as the actual functional group, nothing else. Either that monosaccharide is an aldose or either it is a ketose, but nothing else. So in case of triose, in aldehyde or in aldose type of monosaccharide, I have selected glyceraldehyde. This is the simplest type of monosaccharide, and this is having 3 carbon, as it is very clearly visible here, 3 carbons. And the second carbon which I have highlighted, this second carbon, it is chiral. Why this is chiral? I have told you in my previous video. Just go back to my last video and clarify your concept regarding chirality. What is a chiral carbon and how can you define chirality of a molecule? So this second carbon is a chiral carbon, and hence glyceraldehyde has 1 chiral carbon. Now in case of ketose, there is no chiral carbon, 0 chiral carbon. If I come to tetrose, then in case of aldehyde, there are 4 carbons, as the name suggests, 4 carbons, and there are 2 chiral carbons, second and the third chiral carbons. And the example is erythrose, having 2 chiral carbons. In case of ketose, I have selected erythrulose, which is having 1 chiral carbon, which is the third one. Another example is threose in case of tetrose. Now in pentose, there are 5 carbons, as you can see, and in aldose type of pentose, there are 3 chiral carbons. And the example, very common example, ribose, having 3 chiral carbon, and the ketose type of pentose is having 2 chiral carbons, and the example is ribulose. It is having 2 chiral carbons. Other examples, xylose, arabinose, and lysose. In hexose, there is glucose, which is an aldehydic sugar. It is having 6 carbons and there are 4 chiral carbons, as you can see. And in ketose type of hexose, we have fructose. Out of 6 carbons, you have 3 chiral carbons. And fructose, it is the sweetest sugar, as I have written here. It is the sweetest sugar, and it is one of the example of fructose is levulose, and it is having 3 chiral carbon. Some other examples of hexose like allose, altrose, glucose, iodose, and glucose. It is present 80% in brain, 80% in brain, and 20% in ketone bodies, again which is present in brain. So glucose is very abundant in our brain cells, and its ketone form is also present in brain, 20%, near about 20%. Now how will you remember number of chiral carbons? This I have told you in my last video. Again I am telling you, it is written here. In ketonic sugars have 1 lesser chiral carbon as compared to aldehydic sugar. It is very clearly visible here. In glyceraldehyde, if there is 1 chiral carbon, there will be 0 chiral carbon in dihydroxyketone. In tetrose, if I take the example of erythrose, there are 2 chiral carbons, then there is only 1 chiral carbon in erythrulose. Similarly, in ribose, 3 chiral carbons, 2 chiral carbons in ribulose, and also there are 4 chiral carbons in glucose and only 3 chiral carbons in fructose. So one less chiral carbons in ketone sugar as compared to aldehyde sugar. So this is a key concept that might help you to remember number of chiral carbons present in monosaccharide. So I hope this video will help you, and stay tuned with Boson's Botany. And if you find this video helpful, just hit the like button and share with your friends, and do let me know what else I need to add and how I can improve my videos. I will definitely try to work on all those things. So until then, stay safe and keep learning. Thank you.